So Black Ink Crew Chicago is back, y'all, and I'm trying to figure out who are all these new people. Now, between the two shows, I guess you could say I'm hella biased because Chicago is my hometown, and I have been watching this show since the first season with Kat, Danielle, Ashley, foolish ass, and nasty old Charmaine, although I have to say she has definitely grown on me. I used to enjoy the original, but it got kind of fake and they added too many faces. I miss the days when they just had C's, Duchess, Puma, Sassy. You remember Sassy and oh shit, and Teddy Rucks. I remember those days like that, but they've added too many new faces and I just kind of start tuning out. And like I said, it just got too fake. They were doing more fighting than actual tattoos. Okay. And that's why I don't even watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta much anymore because I felt like they had added too many new faces. Anyway, the crew is back and fine ass Ryan has leveled up with a new 9 mag and of course, all these new ass faces, okay? He's trying to create some new energy in the new place. He has a real nice setup in the new shop, but I gotta be honest with y'all. It's something I'm not feeling about his new place and I'll come back to that in a little bit. Anyway, at the end of the last season, Ryan pretty much handed the old shop over to Van. And I guess the arrangement is he is free to do as he pleases as long as he cuts that check for Ryan every single month. Now we see real quick that Van is going to be on some of the same BS that made Ryan cut ties with them in the first place, right? The old folks don't really know how Van is going to act now that he's in charge, but we see how things go when Van brings in a throne for him to sit on, and he has his folks throwing rose petals on the floor like he's on some kind of Zamunda foolishness. When I saw that last night, I'm just thinking, okay, y'all doing too much. This is clearly VH1 telling them to be super extra. And so now, when that happens, we see Bella, who I really, really, really did not like or care for at all when they first introduced her a couple of seasons back. Okay, remember when Ryan went to open a different shop or something like that? She was like supposed to be like a manager or something like that. But every time we saw her, she was drunk or getting drunk or throwing up. And I'm thinking, who the hell brought her in and why would they date? They basically phased out Danielle for Bella. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, Bella's feeling some type of way because Ryan didn't include her in his new spot, okay, with all these new faces. And she really ain't also feeling Van either because remember, Van don't really rock with Bella because she was associated with Lily. Remember, they were roommates at one point or another. So Van pretty much stars in on her immediately when he tells her that he's going to call her Latifah, which is her real name. She don't look like a Latifah, but that's her real name. And he basically tries to front her in front of everybody. They're telling her to clean up them rose petals. And so she decides to quit. And that was kind of like the end of that scene right there, which, like I said, some of the stuff is just too acty for me, too Hollywood, too and cut for me. But I see where they're going with this. Next, they move on to Charmaine and Phor. And y'all might remember that Phor was going through some serious depression last season. He broke up with Nikki when it was revealed he was sending ass pics to somebody. We still don't really know if it was a man or a woman because, women don't really like ass shots. But let me not get my ADD going. Anyway, y'all know Charmaine got a radio job here at WGCI, which honestly, I can't really listen to her. She's just too much for me. But she interviews Phor at the station. And they talk about Nikki and how he was going through his depression. When he was going through his depression, Nikki actually reached out to him on social media, but he felt like she was being fake because they practically lived together. If you remember, they had been together for a minute. They was kind of like shacking up and living together. And he felt like she was being fake because if she really cared about him, she wouldn't have done that on Instagram, on social media in front of everybody. If she really cared, she got his phone number, right? She could call, she could text, she could do something instead of making it like she don't even know him like that, like giving him like, oh, prayers to you like everybody else was doing. All right. And some of y'all might not know this or have heard this, but Nikki moved down to Atlanta. She living her best life and she is rumored to be dating 50 Cent. So I'm just hoping for the best for Phor this season. I really like him. He just seems like a really unproblematic dude. And I hope things start to turn around for him mentally, emotionally, and of course, career-wise, because, that's his first love seems to be music. And then his second love is tattooing. So we'll see. So next up, we see Rachel and Ryan meeting for dinner. Now, I'm going to have to say this. For all those Rachel fans, I'm sorry, but I cannot stand her. I have never liked Rachel. I peeped early that Rachel was up on some kind of come up type of stuff. Okay. Some of you guys might not be aware of this, but I think it's a pretty stand up thing for Ryan to be doing what he's doing as far as raising both of her sons, because one of those boys is not Ryan's. The baby, actually, she had with Jeremiah. Some of you guys may remember Jeremiah. He's a singer. And she ran off. She left Ryan to go run off to be with Jeremiah because, again, Jeremiah had the bigger shine at the time, okay? And Black Ink Crew Chicago was just kind of coming up, and I have a feeling that she didn't really feel like it was going to go anywhere, that there was no future in it. So she ran off, got with Jeremiah, had a baby with him. She probably thought that she was going to be his woman, his main, that she was going to get a whole lot of shine off of it, become famous off of it, and it just didn't work out that way. So I feel like she came back to Ryan with hat in hand. And of course, he was waiting with bated breath, open arms, okay, even though he was still messing with Kat, okay, and Danielle for the matter. So anyway, the reason why I really don't like Rachel is because she just, to me, just comes off real pompous and bougie, and I just don't really care for her. And then I didn't like how she came, that it was that one season when she came and she was acting like she was trying to take over the shop. Like, just kind of run things around. It's almost kind of like how Duchess was. I like Duchess way more when she's off the show now. But I remember how when Duchess was on Black Ink Crew New York, how she kind of acted like she was trying to run things around there because she was, of course, with C's. That's how I feel like Rachel is. And she just comes off a bit bougie for me. But anyway, they meet for dinner. They're talking about the kids. Nothing really else is going on there. She also kind of like expresses the fact that she ain't feeling the fact that Van is running the old shop. She's still holding a grudge against him, blah, 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 blah. But, that was kind of like the end of that. They didn't really do much of anything. That scene, I guess, was unnecessary, in my opinion. But now we move on where Phor heads to the old shop, but it's cold over there. And he heads over to Ryan's new shop to ask him if he can turn up the heat. And because he has a client he has to tat, he wants to see if he can tat at Ryan's place. So immediately you kind of see a change in the energy because it was never a thing it was never really a thing. They could just walk up in Ryan's shop, in 9 Mag anytime they wanted to. But now we see Phor get stopped at the door by Ryan's assistant, Gina. And Ryan comes out and tells Phor he's not allowing folks just to walk up in his spot anymore. Like I said earlier, something just feels different about this new spot and this new energy that Ryan is on. I get what Ryan is really trying to do because they didn't really show him any respect at the old place. You remember they used to fight all the time. They never really listened to what he was trying to do, listen to what he was trying to say. So I get what he's doing. I absolutely get what he's trying to do. But like I said, something is just off about this energy, and I guess we're going to have to see this play out. So anyway, they offer Phor, they kind of like, give him an offer, put an offer on the table about him coming over there to work at the new 9 Mag. The only difference is now, instead of just paying the booth rent like they used to, like most people are used to doing, when you have a trade like that, basically Ryan wants him to sign a contract, and he also wants a percentage of every tattoo Phor does. And that's just like, okay, yeah, Ryan's on some next level stuff for me. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to see that, like I said, play out. So now the two broke girls, not the TV show, but Bella and Lily, are hanging out after Bella tells her what happened with Van. Remember, something happened earlier with Van. Lily decides to be super petty and decide that they're going to go over to the old 9 Mag's reopening party because remember, now that Van is like the head of that shop, in usual fashion, they're going to have a party because that's basically all they do. They really don't tat, if you ask me. All they do is party and drink, okay? So the strippers are dancing, they're twerking, they're doing their thing. The liquor is pouring, and 9 Mag ain't never had a party without some messiness and beef, as you know. So Lily shows up with Bella and Charmaine, and everybody is looking at her like, why is this heifer here? And then Lily tells Van he can't tell her she can't be up in there because it's still Ryan's place. Remember, it's still Ryan's spot. And then Lily decides she wants to call folks the N-word again. Remember last season, she was all on the N-word. She couldn't help. She just N. And I'm sure she felt pretty comfortable doing it because people allowed her to do that without smacking her in her damn mouth. So this dude that she called the N, dude throws a drink in her face, and Van picks her up to remove her from the party. And Van basically kicks her and Bella out. Okay, they don't even work there anyway, so they really shouldn't have been there, right? I think it's going to be a really decent season. I'm hoping. We're going to get into the Charmaine bag a little next week, and we're going to see what's going on with her and her relationship. Because remember, at one point, her and her man was trying to have a baby. I mean, Charmaine all over the place. She don't really know what she want to do. All I know is that they shacking up. They haven't married yet. I guess Charmaine's trying to do something else with her career because, you know, here in Chicago, she's on TV a lot. Like I told you, she's on the radio. So she's trying to like level up a little bit. And her man, I think he's like a big tech savvy guy. He's probably making a lot of nice little bank because where they live, really, really expensive area. Okay. So also, we didn't really hear much from Don and Ashley. Now, at the beginning of it, they did say that Don had decided to stay in Chicago. Now, he's in his acting bag. He's now an actor. All right. And Ashley, I saw her on Instagram not too long ago, and it looked like she was wearing a cap and gown. So I guess she graduated from something. I hope she got a little sense this season because, you know, we've seen Ashley too many times acting like she ain't got a bit of common sense when it comes to that husband of hers. All right. I like Don. I mean, he has some anger issues. I do genuinely like him. I just think that he might be one of those people that's just better off being single because I just don't ever see Don being monogamous. Okay. Also, I wonder what's going on with Jen. Okay. We didn't see her in this first episode, but there will be more episodes to come. And I doubt that she's off the show. You know how they tried to bring her back last season, and you know Van had cheated on her with this other girl while Jen's dad died. It was all kind of craziness and stuff like that. So I want to see how Jen plays into this new season and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Like I said, I hope that they don't mix or mess this up with adding too many people. You know, like I said, I cannot deal with Atlanta no more, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, because I can't remember all these people and their storylines. It just focus on a few people. And that's why I just stopped tuning in to that. And then with the Black Ink Crew New York with C's and Teddy, they just added too many people. It was just too much for me. Real fake storylines, real fake scenes, Sky doing the most, Sky being super fake. I just couldn't do it no more. So I'm hoping that Chicago don't mess it up and that they continue to do what they do. You know, I know y'all looking at Ryan right now. He's just so fine to me. He is just so fine to me. Like he could play like the new Superfly, something like that. He just looked good to me. Okay. But let me get off of that. Let me get off Ryan. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to be reviewing, like I said, Black Ink Crew Chicago because I love him. I'm going to be trying to review Pose. Pose is coming back in a few days, and I cannot wait. I'm excited about that. I love the first season. I'm looking forward to this next season. I think I'm going to try to review Basketball Wives, even though I didn't really tune in to the last season. I kind of tuned out a little bit, but I have watched for many, many years. So I think I'm going to try once again. But anyway, what do y'all think? What do you think about this first episode? What do you think is going to happen? How do you feel about Ryan's new shop and all these new people? What do you feel about Phor? Like, should he, go to the new shop, work at the new shop, or should he stick what he knows? Okay. And what about Van? Oh, extra ass. Okay. That was just too much. It was just so fake. Seriously, Van. Seriously. And Latifah, like I said, I was not expecting Bella's name to be Latifah, but okay, I guess so. Anyway.